Yeah, I just don't recommend anybody do anything at Coney Island. Like,
Why?
It's a waste of time. If you ask me, I've
dude,
been
because
there.
that shit has been there since like the 60s or some shit.
But it's where the Warriors were trying to get back to, Puchel.
Yeah.
They're trying to get home. The Warriors trying to get home. I would go to Nathan's and get a hot dog. Okay,
Is that where you get the best hot dogs?
Arguably, yes.
Aren't they
It's
long
like
and
a-
skinny, like regular?
No, they're not long. They're long. And
What's
thick.
the?
I'm not even joking. Them Nathan's, those are some girthy dogs.
So we got topics, right? I gotta go real quick. What do we got? Talking about SSX. Extreme sports. What kind of extreme sport would you guys would be interested in doing, if there's any at all? If you're like a weak sauce pants and you don't want to do any type of extreme sports.
All right, I'm gonna take it back. Okay, to Young Pooch. All right, Young Pooch. I was an inline skating phenom. Okay,
Ooh.
I had my, I was on my Brink shit. Remember Brink? Disney, the straight to VHS classic Brink.
I don't remember that. What is that? I'm gonna look it up right now.
Did you ever do any?
It's some terrible movie where they he's an inline skater or something. He's skating down
1998.
Did you ever do any skitching?
No. I don't know anything. I was just kidding. I owned a pair of inline skates when I was a young rollerblades when I was a kid. And,
This is Disney original.
Yeah, the Brink, bro. Don't sleep on it.
Yo.
They go down the devil's ass crack or backbone or some shit like that. It's like a part of the course. Not the
Straight
devil's
into the
ass.
devil's anus.
Ooh.
Supposed to be the most dangerous course in town, the devil's ass crack.
I feel like that might not be the Disney movie name they used.
The devil's backbone is what it was called.
This kid just hit a fucking 900, bro. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah,
crazy.
I'd take it inline skating. Also, shout out on the PlayStation 1. Do you guys remember 2 Extreme?
Yeah.
It's like
No.
one of the launch games on the PlayStation, and it was like all extreme sports. It was like you I think you snowboard downhill, you ride a
Skiing,
skateboard
BMX,
downhill,
mountain
and then you
biking.
What?
Mountain biking was also one of those.
maybe. Yeah, I can't
was-
remember.
They lost their licensing somewhere in between the second game, so they had to rename the greatest hits of their first game One Extreme. Because it was like ESPN Extreme or some bullshit like that, and they lost that licensing. So it was 1 Extreme, 2 Extreme, and 3 Extreme. And by 3 Extreme, they kept using the same engine, so it was just like too samey. This was before Tony Hawk, though. So this is all we had.
There was this, and then after that we got Cool Borders. Remember fucking Cool
Yo,
Borders?
That game was
Yes.
Yo,
trash.
right up my alley. It's literally what I was gonna choose: snowboarding. I'm a big fan of snowboarding. I've never done it in my entire life, but through video games, I'm a fucking champion. All right, I fucking dominated all these snowboarding games. There was one on the Xbox, the original Xbox. Some Xbox. It's like a launch title, Amped or some bullshit like that. I'm not sure. It was a snowboarding game. I fucking wrecked that shit. I put I customized my soundtrack so I could play with my own music on the Xbox. It was like my favorite shit to do.
Nice. So I didn't know this was an extreme sport until I did my Google search about 30 minutes ago. But there's a thing called zorbing. And it's these, this big inflatable, like clear balls that you can get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This article that I'm reading is claiming that that's an extreme sport. So, that could be the option. Although I don't like the idea of having to run all the way back up the hill. You get one run, then you have to run up the hill to do that.
I know. That
That might not be the option. I played a lot of Dying Light 2 recently. Maybe I'd choose parkour as my answer. I don't think I'd be good at parkour.
Oh, it should. Yeah, because you jumping from building and doing crazy shit.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be good at parkour. I would be like Michael Scott doing parkour in The Office, just yelling parkour a lot.
Parkour. Just jumping into The parkour is certainly, out of all the extreme sports that I'm aware of, is probably the most useful one to know. Like, God forbid you're in any situation, you could climb up some wall, jump off some building. Like, you could make some moves. You know what I mean?
Our man Jackie Chan, dude, there is no wall that Jackie Chan cannot climb.
Man,
That man will bounce from side to side like a video game character. He's unstoppable.
That man's a cat.
What about you, Tony? What extreme
me?
sport are you doing?
I think I would take that wingsuit thing where you get to just jump off in a wingsuit. I'm afraid of heights, so to me this is very extreme. So I would, but I always wanted to do it. Fly through this freaking air like a squirrel, falling gradually. Like that thing would be pretty cool. Even though it's that's like one slip up and that's it, bro. You're hitting that thing hard.
That one seems like you got to learn how to parachute first, right? Isn't that how you stop eventually? I'm assuming you don't just like slide to a stop on the ground or something.
You're just sliding through the grass, blades of glass, like no problem.
I saw a video where a guy was wingsuiting and he was going like down a mountain and then he was going to kind of go under this bridge and fly up. Mm-hmm. But he just, boom, crashed right into the bridge. That shit was horrifying. I'm like,
that's terrifying.
I wouldn't do this.
No, yeah, I mean, they're going fast, bro. Like,
how do you think?
So, what's an extreme sport that you would never want to do?
That's what I was just thinking. Like, there's some that I just want. Like, there's extreme sports that I just wonder how people get into, like bobsledding. Like bobsledding. How do you just one day wake up and decide, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go bobsledding.
Well, first, if you were born in Jamaica, where they make the best bobsledders in the world, then it's just a natural progression. You know, you go from running on the track team to bobsledding. You know, the ice in Jamaica is fantastic for bobsledding. They made one of the worst bobsledding teams in that movie, by the way. They were terrible.
Cool runnings.
The movie ended with them just failing as a bobsledding team. It's kind of depressing.
But no, I think cliffhanger is probably the worst. People who like climb rocks.
Cliffhang?
Yeah, like they climb rocks, they climb these mountains or whatever, and then they just kind of like just build like these, like I guess a hammock pretty much, or they just hang on all day. They just be hanging around on the side of the mountain all day. That's a sport supposedly. I'm good.
See, because I would say for me, I would never want to do free climbing.
That's the same thing. They do the same thing,
like,
I think.
Well, free climbing is
climb up a mountain with no gear.
Yeah, no rappels or anything like that set up. They're just going
wild.
And they be climbing tall ass shit. Like one slip, these motherfuckers is dead. Like,
dude, I was
terrible.
So I went to the Devil's Tower on my way back from my Deadwood trip. And that thing is huge. Like, it's so much bigger than you expect it to be, right? But we had like our little like spotting scope and we were like checking it out, right? And there was a group of people just like climbing up the side of Devil's Tower. They were about halfway up and they were over there like they had taken all their shoes off, I guess, because your feet get like dirty and like covered in like grime and shit. So they had taken their shoes off and were like kicking shit off of their feet. But man, they were about halfway up, 2/3 of the way up. It was insane.
Oh, that's crazy, bro. Just like people want to, you're on mute. People want to climb mountains free. That's yeah. I don't know what enjoyment you'll get out of that.
So I don't think I could do anything with heights involved. Because the next one that I would pick is street luging. All right?
That looks terrifying.
Put me on a hill and send me down the hill because I love bombing on my bike. And I love the speed. That shit is thrilling and exhilarating, bro. So like I would say I'm kind of a speed freak. I like going fast down hills. So put me on a street luging and let me go under some 18-wheelers or something like that.
This man is wild.
There was an arcade machine for street luging once, and I remember I loved playing it.
Really? I don't recall ever seeing that one.
Yeah, there was a street luging arcade machine. It was very wacky. It was
How did you control it? Did you lay in the thing? Like
yeah, it's like a seat like that. It was some weird controlling. It was like I remember pizza for some reason. It's like an Italian pizza delivery shit. I don't know. I have to look it up now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but
the coolest ones would be skateboarding and surfing, and I would choose those. But like, I don't have the balance for that. I've never had the balance for things like that. I'm probably not going to be good at parkour. But
can you swim?
I can swim.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I took.
Just asking.
Yeah,
shit, you were asking with an assumption.
Because I mean, he's from Texas. They ain't really like.
It's called
like
rolling extreme
like
downhill street luge.
Well, swimming in the ocean still gets me a little nervous because I don't have a lot of beach experience in my life, but we have a ton of lakes, right? Like there's like one non-man-made lake in Texas, but Texas does have a lot of lakes. I spent a lot of time swimming in creeks and lakes.
I wouldn't trust not one creek in Texas.
Oh,
just
the
like
water's
I wouldn't
murky,
trust
man.
One in Florida.
Oh, I would never swim in like a random lake in Florida.
Nope. There's a gator in almost every single one of them, bro.
Y'all have signs outside of every body of water. Like, there might be
Beware
gators in there.
If there was one there once, there'll be another one there.
They just found a lady here in my in my Austin area that she stole an alligator from a reptile zoo like 20 years ago. And she's just been raising it in her backyard. She's got like this 9-foot gator that they just returned to the zoo.
That's wild, bro. Like, I'm surprised she's alive. Gators ain't really trustworthy like that. I seen this TikTok of a guy.
Maybe it was her bestie.
He was in a canal or something, bro. This gator came up to him for a pet. He was petting the fucking gator, bro. He's in the water, shoulders up, swimming in the water. The gator comes up like this. He's like, oh, you just want to rub again, don't you? He's rubbing the fucking gator and then pushes him away, and the gator goes on his business. I said, bro, this is the most country hick shit I've ever seen in my life. I am not trusting no gator, bro. Like, I don't care if that thing knows it's your father. Nope, not trusting that.
There are so many of these extreme sports that they break my brain as to how people get into them. Waterfall kayaking.
That seems cool.
How do you get into that? How do you just decide one day to go waterfall kayaking?
That seems cool. It seems like you're just gonna fall and you gotta land like a point, right? Like a straight 90-degree type shit coming off the damn waterfall and then flip back out. People just like, I think people are just adrenaline junkies, bro. That's all it is. The people who invent these things, they're all junkies for the rush. Like, Doughboy is a junkie for bombing on his bike. Most dangerous thing you could do in New York, I think.
It could be dangerous. Yeah, you got to know what you're doing.
That's
you gotta
dangerous
know,
as hell.
You got to know your road too. You got to know what you're riding on and where you're riding. Like, you got to know where the potholes are at.
You know what's even dangerous than that? More dangerous than that is those people who ride those little it's like a surfboard, a skateboard, but you can lay on the skateboard and go down the side of mountains in California. You ever seen those dudes?
Street luging.
That's what I thought street luging was just bikes. I didn't know that's what that was.
No, you lay down and
y'all boys is crazy out there. If y'all doing it out there and y'all watch this pod, send some clips over, but that's wild. Why?
You guys would ever do the running of the bulls?
I don't know, dude. I don't feel like I would get any joy out of running away from a bunch of bulls. I've run away from a lot of animals in my life. I've never enjoyed it any time that I've done it.
that Pamplona shit they do in Spain, no, I wouldn't do that shit.
One tumble,
bored, man.
It's terrible too because the streets you run down aren't even streets you could get away. Like there's no like side roads or nothing by design because they don't want the bull to start running through the city. So it's literally a road with walls. You can't even climb up these things. It's like once you're in that bitch, you're running. You gotta run, motherfucker. You gotta get out of there. Like, some people get lucky. The bull runs and they kind of like get up against the wall, and the bull just sort of passes them and shit. But I'm sure people have died doing that shit.
Facts.
For sure.
People probably got stabbed by the horn and everything, bro. That's not no.
Think of how gnarly that scar must be, even if you survive getting gored in the leg or something. That's
Fuck out of here.
Got to be months of PT.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I did that Spain run 1 year, that bull almost killed me. Got a scar to prove it.
Does that Red Bull Flugentag or whatever thing, does that count as an extreme sport? You know the one I'm talking about where they try to make like the flying device and they go and jump into the water?
Those are really cool. They also have the downhill. What's the race with the carts? They have a downhill race too. You have to build a cart.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's like a
it's
soapbox derby or whatever the hell?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Soapbox.
Just like little rascals.
Yeah, and you have to, your shit has to make it over like jumps, and then like a lot of people's shit fall apart. Like,
and you get to meet Reba at the end.
Yep, get a kiss.
This guy about there over with all the movie fucking lines.
What the fuck's her name? Reba what?
Reba McEntire, dude.
McEntire.
Someone had a crush on Reba.
It was Doey. Doey was talking about his crush.
She was very pretty in the movie Little Rascals.
This sport says that it's called barefooting, and it says it's just like water skiing, but without the skis.
Oh, I've seen that. That looked like it'll cut the shit out of you, the bottom of your foot, though. I don't know. I do want to, you know what? I do want to try wakeboarding. That looks cool.
Wakeboarding is cool.
You've done it?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, wakeboarding's super cool.
How hard is it to start? I heard that's what the problem is. People don't know how to start it correct.
Oh, it's a pain in the ass, dude. I can't even explain like how you do it. You just start feeling like where the balance point is on the board.
Damn.
Better than wakeboarding, you can go volcano boarding. What do you guys feel about that?
Oh, what do you mean volcano?
What is volcano boarding?
Hell no.
Using your heels and brakes
No.
It is possible to clock speeds up to 56 miles per hour. It's like a sled on top of a mountain that is kind of active.
Oh, okay. I was picturing you sliding down on the lava. First of all, I want to know the device or the instrument that you're using to ride the lava, because that shit is not melting. Tato. But nah, that's stupid. We don't want to ride down a mountain.
How do you invent sports like this?
I don't know. I think somebody one day just said, hey, this could be a sport. And they just started doing it and it got popular. Almost like how golf got invented.
I'm surprised you didn't choose like BMX or something, Doey.
Doey don't know how to
Oh
BMX.
yeah, no, that downhill BMXing, downhill like biking and stuff like that, mountain biking, that would be like a close one adjacent to something I would try like today.
I don't think you'll be able to do it. It's not easy. BMXing is very difficult. You gotta be athletic as fuck. I've tried it as a kid growing up. I'm
not talking about like BMX, like I'm not, you know. I like
oh,
it.
you're talking about not the tricking, not the doing the trick stuff on all that?
I'm just talking about going down a hill on like a mountain bike and stuff.
Yeah, I need to see this video.
You would kill that shit, though.
Yeah, I need to see this video of this guy, Danny Hart, going downhill.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
He's a monster.
And the best part of the video are the announcers. They're so hyped for this guy. He sets a record on this course, and they're just screaming their ass off the whole time he's riding down.
But he's
One
also
time they
making
hit a
it.
jump, he hits like a little trick, and the guy's like, he can't even get any more words out. And then the ending, the guy just says, "How can Danny Hart sit down with balls so big?" But the guys are like, Danny Hart's on the ride of his life. They might be Australian. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe British. I think they're British. But
Wait,
One of the
so,
greats.
So would any of us do bungee jumping or anything like that? I've never had any interest in going bungee jumping.
I'm super good off of that.
I'm good off that. I'm going to trust a sling that's been used several thousand times. Nah.
This one says it's called canyon swinging. It says to take a long piece of rope, attach one end to your harness and the other end to the edge of a cliff or bridge, then jump.
No thanks.
If I had a parachute on, I'll try it. That way, if it snaps, I could just snap the parachute.
You never
usually
seen...
you don't find out it snaps until the end.
No. Well, a tie like a not a noose, but tie something to the parachute thing. So if that does snap, it'll pop that, and then boom, you're good to go. Like I'm fine with that. I'll take a risk like that, but
Have you ever seen a parachute fail, like, and then not properly?
Then it was meant for me to die that day. That's it. If two safety devices snap, it's meant for me to go, bro. That's crazy.
You'll go into like almost a controlled dive. You'll just keep spinning really fast to the ground.
You're gonna have the spins before you die. That's the worst.
I think the idea of skydiving seems really cool, but I don't know if it's anything I have an interest in doing.
I had a friend that went skydiving, and she had problems with vertigo for years afterwards.
Really?
From skydiving?
She got really bad vertigo from jumping out of a plane.
Huh. Vertigo is where you lose balance, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It was also a very shocking experience, and I think she was just dealing with like the PTSD from jumping out of a plane. I think people think like, "Oh, it's so fun, it's great." I was like, you're jumping out of a plane. This shit is a shocking. It's really.
I saw a compilation the other day of like just a bunch of people passing out on like carnival rides, like the slingshot ride and like roller coasters and things. You see like their friend next to them having a blast. Their arms are up. The other person puts their arms up, and then they just slump over it and flopping everywhere.
Those are my favorites. And then when they put the Windows shutdown sound to it, that shit is hilarious.
And my favorite is when they keep waking up
and getting scared all over again.
Oh! They pass out again.
Dude, so it seems frightening, dude. Some of them, they wake up mid-fall, and they wake up, and you can see their eyes get all big, and then they pass out again.
You could probably die of a heart attack with all that scare, bro. That shit's crazy. I would passing out, waking up, and passing out for the same thing you passed out for 3, 4, 5 times in a row. Nah, you got to stop the ride at some point. That's why I always had a fear of roller coasters. Like, I'm not a big fan of roller coasters, bro. But like, it's funny though, because once I ride it and I get over it, I want to ride it again. It's fun now at that point. But it's just that initial first step, getting seated, all that. It's just like, I ain't liking it. I don't feel good.
When I was a kid, I was all about the roller coaster. Now as an adult, I'm just like, I know how little they keep up with this stuff. Like, like the Universal and the things like that. They have all these crazy safety systems. Like, in order for those things to fail, a lot of things had to have gone wrong. Mm-hmm. But like, you go to a place like the South Florida Fair and you try to ride one of these rides, like, them dudes ain't servicing these rides at these places. Nope. Like, you're gambling your life on like 14 seconds of fun,
You're gambling your life on someone that's making, minimum wage and is probably treated badly at their job.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ride any of the carnival rides. Like, those like little carnivals just set up randomly in like Walmart parking lots and shit. I don't know if I would go to one of those anymore. But I used to.
I used to love those, but now as like an adult, I'm like, shit.
Now I can see why my parents shut that idea down all the time whenever we're like, we should go to that carnival right there on this side of the road. And they'd be like, maybe later. And then later never came.
Later's never coming.
No, yeah, that's like the South Florida Fair that we have here in Florida. I don't ride none of those rides.
I like a little jank in my roller coasters. I like old wooden roller coasters because you can feel the track shaking.
That's nah.
The cyclone in New York is scary. Shit is fucking scary. Yeah.
There's a ride in New York?
Yeah, in Coney Island. There's like, it's a very old roller coaster.
I've never made it to Coney. Anytime that I've gone to New York, we should do Coney next time.
We should do Coney next time.
How long of a train ride is that?
It's like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a long trip.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 45 minutes.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's fucking ass.
From your apartment, from your house?
Yeah.
That seems way too long.
Yeah, because you lived in Jamaica. You lived close to Coney Island.
What if we take one of those Uber helicopters?
They got Uber helicopters?
Uber helicopter has to exist.
They drop the rope ladder in front of your building and you just climb up the rope ladder.
I thought it was a real shit. Fuck yeah, I was excited.
Tony, the rich people have a different Uber app than we have. They've got an Uber helicopter. They got an Uber submarine.
I would take an Uber submarine.
Yeah, I just don't recommend anybody do anything at Coney Island.
Why?
It's a waste of time. If you ask me, I've been
because
there.
that shit has been there since like the 60s or some shit.
But it's where the Warriors were trying to get back to, Pucho.
Yeah,
They're trying to get home. The Warriors trying to get home. I would go to Nathan's and get a hot dog. Okay,
Is that where you get the best hot dogs?
Nathan's they're
arguably,
good hot dogs.
Arguably, yes.
Aren't they
It's
long
like,
and skinny like regular?
They're
no, they're not long. They're long. And
What's
thick. I'm not even joking. Them Nathan's, those are some girthy dogs.
Doughboy, what's the ones you bought down here? What's it called? Hebrew something you said?
Hebrew National.
Hebrew National.
I thought that's what I was thinking of. Okay.
Hebrew Nationals are good dogs too. I mean, both of them
They're
are like
kosher.
all beef kosher dogs. Like
100% beef.
It's what
you
you
need
want.
that beef.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I need that meat in my mouth.
Yeah, we should do a Warriors New York trip and just go to Coney Island. That's going to be our whole goal for the day is just to get back to Coney Island.
We should go to Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx and then walk to Coney Island like the Warriors.
That's a long trip. I'm down though.
Yeah. They did the train for a little while, but then the cops pulled up on them. They had to dip.
So that scene, they said it was in Van Cortlandt, but it's at 96th Street in Riverside. I dropped all the locations in the Discord a few days ago, and I was looking at all the locations and where they did like the "Can You Dig It?" That was in a park that I used to play in all the time, and I had no fucking idea.
That's rad.
I rode by it yesterday and I looked over and it's literally right there on the side of the road. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is literally where it happened. Very cool. I looked at some of the pictures. The 14th Street station still has the street sign, the tiles pointing to the street from when it was in the movie. Those
awesome.
tiles are still there.
Sheesh.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd be so
Yeah.
down for a trip for like a day where we just do like all the Warriors locations we want to go to.
Where you guys stayed at in Riverside and 82nd was 10, 15 blocks away from like where that happened. You guys were right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this much. I don't think I want to do any walking like that without the proper shoes. Last time, y'all
let's
fucked
save
me
us
up.
from this topic, Tony. This shit's going. This is the longest. This is longer than the Warriors had to travel. Okay, to
It's a
get back
possibility,
home
yeah.
and survive. Okay, this is the journey of epic proportions, and
Just
we need
like-
to move on.